Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Bites, the only place where you'll learn of the bits and bytes of the cosplay world. Convention coverage, cosplay guests, spotlights, and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy getting a look into bringing a character to life. This is Cosplay Bites. Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Bites, the podcast where it's in the name. Cosplay, conventions, all that good stuff. Today, my guest is my awesome friend Ashley, who you may know as Canary Cosplay online.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing much better that I've slept.
Yep. So today's basic main point of the episode would be on MomoCon 2018. Took place in Georgia this past weekend, and you're going to be talking about how it was vending there, because that was your main thing there, correct?
Yeah, I vend there.
All right. So, quick things to go over on my blog. If you haven't checked it out recently, last week there were spotlights on photographer Shutterwolf Studios, who's based in Australia, and there was a struck first post on Zalaria Cosplay looking all waifu with all hell in her Spring Bunny Kajiro cosplay from Fire Emblem Heroes. And then coming up this week, another figure review roundup on a bunch of my Play Arts Kai figures, such as Prompto, Cindy, and Riku, and 2 cosplay showcases on Narga Cosplay and JC Cosplay, who I share so many times on my blog. And upcoming cons, I pretty much said so in previous episodes, but the only remaining con for me this year is New York Comic Con, which is in October, and tickets are going on sale very soon, so I gotta get ready to enter that hell. I didn't get a press pass this year, so hopefully someday. And other notable cons, there is Colossal Con coming up, so I'd like to get some posts around that maybe. And there's Anime Expo, which is also in June. So next, we're gonna spotlight you, Ashley. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been cosplaying since 2013, 2014, kind of started off doing commissions, like getting my costumes commissioned. Then I slowly started building up to, okay, I'm going to make my shit. So my very first costume, which is where I got my cosplay name, was Black Canary. And I did that at Baltimore Comic Con in 2014, and people loved it. And it made me feel so good about myself that I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep going. And Black Canary's always been my go-to girl. And she's been my life ever since. So that's where I chose my name.
Okay. And then I know we met through our mutual love/obsession over how dang talented Lisa Luhu is at pretty much everything she makes.
Yes.
And then we met at her meetup at KatsuCon a few months ago. And then we also, I guess, semi-bonded over the love that we have for Final Fantasy 15, because you like to do Mama Iggy a lot.
I do. So the funny thing about my Ignis was I had only played an hour of the game. And then I saw Lisa's Ignis, which is actually on my wall behind me.
Right.
And then I saw John's Ignis from Moderately Okay Cosplays, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing Iggy. So I reached out to Lisa. I was like, Lisa, how did you make your apron? I want to make the apron. And she gave me like all the tips and everything on how to make it. Right. And so I used what she gave me, and I made my apron, got the shirt commissioned, bought a pencil skirt, and went from there. And I've just kept going with it since. Even asked John, I was like, John, what color wig would be good for Iggy from Arda, for like young Iggy? And he told me the exact color.
Oh, that's good.
Now I've played more of 15 and I still love the game. And I actually am trying to do I'm going to do all of the boys as what I like to call Choco Bays.
Okay.
So my next one is Noctis.
Okay.
My armor is being commissioned by the lovely Kappa K in Canada. If you don't know him, he's amazing. He just did his Dorian.
Okay.
And then the sword is going to be commissioned by a friend of mine. And then I already have the suit, just bought the wig at Momo, and I'm good. And I'm just waiting on everything to come in the mail.
All right. You still working through the game?
Oh, yeah. I'm still working through the game. I take my sweet old time.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a lot of DLC to do. And basically play the game almost as if it should have been finished, because...
Yeah.
No, yeah, the add-ons for when the Royal Edition came out were very good. It made the ending much more impactful.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get to the ending and see it. Like, even like there was one extra added scene with between Arden and Ignis, and it was so powerful. I was like, yes.
And then maybe at E3 they'll announce some details about the last pack of DLC that they're trying to get through.
Which is the 4, which is Luna,
Arden,
and RNA, and then an episode Noctis, which maybe at E3 they'll give a little bit more information as to why they're doing an episode Noctis.
I've heard it was like an alternate ending or like a future story or something.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like that.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, let's just get into it. MomoCon, I've heard, has been, I guess, somewhat popular. I know a lot of Georgia-based cosplayers that would go there if they're guests. I think like K-Bear's been to it once. Yaya Han, I think, had been a guest maybe a few times. And then I think I want to say it's almost a staple con for like Riddle, Lynn's Cosmetics, and Monica Lee.
Monica Lee was there.
Yep. Actually, all 3 of them were there.
I didn't see Riddle. I saw Monica Lee.
Yeah.
I had walked by her booth, and then there was, I think, Gaius Cosplay, and then I can't remember the few others that I saw.
Right. So
It looked like they focused more on their other guests, like the voice acting guests, the actor guest. I think it was mostly voice actor guests they focused heavily on.
Right.
So that was interesting.
Yeah.
But it was also the same weekend as like several cons.
Yeah, there was, what was it? Fanime was going on.
Anime North.
MegaCon was going on in Florida. That had a bunch of people. I think that's it.
There was Anime North, Fanime, MegaCon, Phoenix Comic Fest.
That was the one I'm missing. Yeah.
Yep. That was the other major one that there was, because all of my friends were there and I was so upset. I was like, but come to Momo. I'm actually down here.
Right. So you mentioned before that your main thing when there was that you were vending to help out a friend.
Yeah. So I actually have partnered up with Nerd Elysium. She does vending, and she's been doing it for the past couple of years now. And about a year and a half ago, she's been like, I need a stable helper, or I need somebody to help. And she'd always give me her list of, here are the cons I need help with, pick out what you want to help me with. Don't overdo it. But, I overdo it anyways. So between the time I've been doing it, I think I've done between 20 and 30 shows with her so far.
Oh, wow.
And then she teamed up with a friend that we met through at Super Smash Con in Chantilly, Virginia. And they teamed up. So she's been doing stuff in the South, and then we do the stuff in the DMV area.
Right.
And she needed a helper for this weekend because all of her helpers fell through. Her boyfriend's an artist in Artist Alley, so he wasn't able to do it.
Right.
So she would have been drowning if she had not brought me down.
Yeah. And I saw, I guess, some of the pictures you posted. So it sounded like she was selling just a bunch of nerdy goodies.
Yes. So we sell a bunch of Pokemon stuff, like giant Pokemon plush, tiny little toys. She sold enamel pins that she partners with other people that make them, and she sells them. A bunch of JoJo's and Persona, mostly Persona 3 and 4.
To my disappointment.
Yeah, because Persona 5 figures and merch, since the game just came out a year ago, it's still very expensive to get that merch.
Yeah.
So I've even looked up how much Persona 5 figures were, and I was like, oh no. Because what we do is she bids on stuff from Yahoo Japan and eBay, but she knows how she puts them into the translator for a Japanese translator, and that's how she finds the stuff she's looking for, because she knows the keywords, and all of our stuff pretty much is imported from Japan.
Whew.
So it's a lot of work. And
yeah.
When my friend goes to retire, the one who does the main business, I was talking to her about potentially taking over.
Oh.
So I would be taking over and doing all that. And then I would obviously still probably cosplaying as I do it, but not like big builds of costumes, but very comfortable ones that I can move around in.
Yeah, comfy casual wear.
That's why I love my Ignis, because it's so comfortable. It's so easy to manage.
Oh, yeah.
My Yuna's easy, and so is Booker DeWitt.
Yeah. That's why my Prompto quickly has become like, I'll just wear it everywhere. It's so easy, easy peasy Square Enix character to cosplay as without a jacket.
Oh, yes, that's true. Without the jacket.
Yeah, because that was an option of the skin. So, yay, just rank muscle shirt, red muscle shirt. And then Riku, I found his vest from his 3DS game, surprisingly. So I just got that, and then just no one seemed to care that I couldn't find his shoes, but I found his shoes that he wore in the second Kingdom Hearts game, so I just went with that, and people were fine with that.
Yeah, I think people are very open to it. That's what I really like about this community is like, yeah, there's a few batches of very negative people, but the majority of the community is very like stands by one another. Like, so I'm one of, as well as a patron of Lisa's, I was a patron of Moderately Okay Cosplay at the same time. And his community is just fucking phenomenal. Like, I love the Moderately Okay patrons. They're fantastic. They're great people. We all like, I am not a part of the Discord yet, and I haven't added it yet.
Right.
But I've like seen the screenshots, and they're hysterical.
Yeah, so I've seen, yeah. So I guess like what's the process like vending? I mean, I think one of the obvious things I know is that you get to go into the con way early just to help set up and whatnot. But like,
yeah. So typically, the cons open the day before. They'll have load-in hours before the con starts, like the day before. So
right.
For Momo, it was I don't remember the hours, but I know it ended at like 11:45 on Wednesday night. So I landed in Georgia at about 7 o'clock. About 7 o'clock. Had to take the MARTA, which is their like train system there, to her. We had to go to her house, load up the car. We went to dinner first, loaded up the car, and by 10:30 we were to 10 o'clock we left. Got there at 10:30, and people were still loading in. So we were able to find the load in our like a good portion of the stock, like the grid walls, giant boxes of whatever we had, and then go from there. And then the next morning we had to get there before 2, because that's when the con floor opened, and then setting up. So I had to make the grid wall, which is like these little cubes, and then I build it up and then make a little tower over, put all the plushes in, set up all the figures, and then set up all the little stuff. I usually, when I set up the figures, I set up like JoJo, Persona, and then whatever else figures, because people freak out when they see the JoJos and the Personas.
Right.
And then we have to price everything, but we had a sheet of how to price everything.
Oh, good.
Because the girl who does the main the woman who does the main business sent us, okay, here's the general prices for everything.
Okay. And then you just sit at the table?
We just sit at the table, chill, wait for people to come by. We talk to people that come to the booth.
Bathroom breaks if you need it. Yep.
Somebody came with a cosplayer had come up to the booth, and she had a violin with them. And I was like, can I play that? They're like, yeah. I'm like, yes. Her A string was at it too, but I was like, yes, I can play. I feel like I'm at MagFest again.
And then you bought a couple. You wore some of your outfits for the con, right?
I ended up only wearing Ignis because I have never been to Georgia before, so that was really freaking humid down there.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and Booker DeWitt is literally just a full-on suit. With Ignis, it's just a pencil skirt, my apron. I can wear my jacket, or if I don't want to wear it, I can always just cuff my sleeves.
Right.
I ended up just cuffing my sleeves, put my gloves on, wig, glasses, and I was done. But
right.
and then did my makeup, of course, and I ended up still looking decent.
Right.
So, and people don't get it right away that I'm Ignis. They're kind of just like staring at me. Then they see the apron and then all the purple, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Ignis." I'm like, "Yes, yes, I am."
Yeah. Did you get an opportunity to like scope the con out to go like shopping, or?
I actually did. So I walked around the dealer's room. I've been comparing prices of the Play Art figures because I actually bought one when I went to visit friends in Long Island. I bought a Luna Freya one, and I was like, I need more now. So I was scoping out prices, seeing how much, and what I've noticed, and being a vendor, I've noticed it more too. People upcharge the shit out of figures.
Yeah.
And if you go on eBay, the prices are 10 times lower, and the shipping isn't even that high.
Right.
So if you're ever looking for a figure, I always tell us, contact us, because we're able to find you good prices on stuff, send you the information, and then tell you, here's what your recommendations of what to look for, what keywords to use. So like I was looking at an RNA and the guy's like, oh, 180. I go on eBay and I found it for 130.
Huh.
So I was like, yeah, not doing this. I only had a carry-on, so I couldn't get anything else to put in my suitcase.
Right.
So Artist Alley was really cool. I only broke down one of the aisles, but from what I saw, I actually saw a vendor there whose shop I had been following on Etsy, and they make body pillows. And I saw their Garrus one, and that was the one I've been looking at. I'm like, if I had the money, I would just throw it at this body pillow. But, and then I walked into the other room, which was like the gaming room, and like they had tabletop. They had a couple of vendors selling like just cards and tabletop games. And then further in, there was arcades, pinball machines, a bunch of Dance Dance Revolution ones, like from the olds to the newer one, kind of like one older one and then a bunch of the newer ones.
Huh.
They had those pods where you get in the pod and you pilot the robot. I call them like the Gundam thing, but not really Gundams.
Right.
But it was really cool. And then they had a Super Smash Brothers tournament going on, a bunch of other gaming tournaments, and then some console gaming. So it felt like I was at MagFest again, which I talk about MagFest a lot because that's my favorite con of the year.
Right.
Every year. So it was really nice going in there and feeling like I was at home because I was I've never been to Georgia and never been to Momo. So it was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I ran into a few friends. I made some new friends. I actually saw an Arden cosplayer dressed as Ignis, and I was like, I'm going to drop kick you. And then they pulled out a knife, like a fake knife. I'm like, oh God. I wish I had my phone because I was like, they didn't come by my booth later. And I was like, I wish I could have gotten a picture with them, like trying to stab me or cut my throat. I was like, that would have been a feels picture, break the internet.
Yeah.
And then they had their guest in the same room too, so it was cool. Apparently, the voice actor for Arneo was at Momo.
Oh,
yeah. So a lot of I saw Friday. It was actually the day I saw more Final Fantasy 15 cosplayers rather than Saturday, which was kind of odd. But it also made sense because the Final Fantasy shoot was that night.
Right.
So it made sense, but it was really cool to see. And then, of course, we saw people's costumes as they walked by our booth when we were leaving the con to go out. Because once the con, like the dealer's room closed at 8, 7 both nights, and then 5 last night. But when we're walking out the nights before Sunday, I got to see like the bigger builds of costumes. I'm like, these are fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
So the convention center, I think it's the same one as Dragon Con. Don't quote me on that, but it is a beautiful convention center. And outside of it, there's so many cool places for photo shoots. We saw a few people doing there was a Persona 5 group doing photos too, and they were beautiful.
Okay.
But yeah, the dealer's room area was really nice. From what I saw, having done bigger conventions like Awesome Con, I think that's the big one that I've done is Awesome Con.
Okay.
They didn't oversell the vendors, which is a good thing because that means not everybody's not overstimulated. You don't know how many attendees are going to be there.
Right.
So, and then the artist alley was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I think that's about the extent. I did meet Troy Baker yesterday, which was probably the highlight of my con was meeting Troy Baker and talking to him.
I saw the picture. Yep.
Yes. I internally, I was not freaking out too much because I was also very exhausted yesterday. So it wasn't really hitting me, but I was like, you know what? I just really want to talk to him about his audition for Arkham Origins. And I did. And I told him how it gave me chills. Because I don't know if anybody has listened to that Troy Baker's audition for Arkham Origins because he read a verse from The Killing Joke.
Right, because he did the Joker. He
did the Joker in Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
He does actually a lot of voice. He's a very well versatile voice actor.
He'd like the next Nolan North or pretty much at his level.
Yeah, Nolan North was right next to him too. I mean, he wasn't at his booth, but Nolan North was literally right next to him.
Yeah. Yeah, they did good in Uncharted. The two of them playing both Sam and Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did The Last of Us because Troy Baker was Joel in The Last of Us.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm starting to I'm just thinking like New York Comic Con is the only one where it's artist alley. Like it's where like I'm starting to buy a lot more now. Where it's made me like now they have like getting keychains for my car keys, and it's just a whole mess of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what. So I was gonna look more in depth because like I love Final Fantasy so much, and then with all the 15 like pins and charms they do, I'm like,
oh yeah,
oh my god. But sometimes it's hard to find. Like at Awesome Con, there was not a single person that sold Final Fantasy 15 merch.
Right,
not a single person. Here maybe, but I didn't really look too hard.
Right.
Since I had friends in Artist Alley who I actually commissioned one of them to make me something.
Yeah, I found this Panther keychain at New York Comic Con last year, but it eventually snapped. So,
oh no.
And then I got the official one, the giant one from Atlas's online store that they finally opened up. I got a cute Final Fantasy 15 chibi keychain of all four of the boys. I got one of Kane, I think in a Dissidia outfit. Keychain of Camilla. I think that was it. And as far as the play arts to go, I pretty much just spend it at Square Enix's booth at New York.
Yeah, I don't blame you because
they took all my money. All my money that year.
I believe it.
They did. They sold out of Prompto, which was my main. Like, I'm gonna get Prompto. They didn't have them, so I was like, "Well, I'm buying them online."
Yeah, because I've noticed that. Like, they sell out quick. Like, they didn't have any Promptos or Ignises at Momo.
Right.
Or they had Noctis, Aranea, Luna, Nyx, and then Leon, Cloud, a lot of Sephiroth.
Right. And then I treated myself and I got Cindy. And then...
Yeah, Cindy. I saw Cindy.
I got a mini... part of their static arts line of Riku's Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit. They have in their Bring Arts line, which I guess is like a smaller version of what I would assume the Play Arts Kai would look like. But they have Riku's Kingdom Hearts 3 outfit like up for pre-order. So, but I'm thinking maybe it'll be live by the time New York comes around, and maybe they'll have it there. So I'm like, I'll get it there.
Yeah.
Unless they have a Player Kai version, in which case I'll get that. What else? Anything else about the con?
I mean, overall, it was a really nice con. The crowd was amazing. There were no, I want to call it? Like, I heard nothing negative from anybody at that con.
Oh, good.
So it was really nice. I actually met a few people who were in Final Fantasy costumes. And we talked about, like, you know, I asked one about, like, an Ignis cosplayer came up and he showed me his daggers. And I was like, those daggers are amazing. And he told me how he makes them and how he commissions them and how his commissions are really affordable. And I asked him how much, and he told me. I was like, okay, I'm going to hit you up when I'm more awake, when I get home. And he's like, I do a ring of Lucii too. I'm like, I need a ring of Lucii.
Oh no.
So he was like, I'll throw that in for free for you. I'm like, I love you. Thank you. So it was really, like, overall, like, I was worried about, like, so we were worried about the con and not being able to, we were worried that we weren't going to sell much at the con because there was a lot of competition for plushie vendors and figures.
Oh,
but
sure.
Everybody came up to us saying we had the best price. We always have the best prices on figures.
Oh, that's always good.
We never overcharge our figures. Like, somebody came up and said, like, once we saw that we had JoJo, they're like, your JoJos are really affordable. I just went to another booth where it was like $80 for this same figure, and here it is for this price. I'm like, you don't need to charge that much.
Yeah, that's the thing I remember the most when going to New York Comic Con with my dad, because my dad got addicted to the Funko Pops. So he would just go run around darting to each vendor that had Funko Pops, see if they had the same one, and compare prices to see, because
you do that,
differing prices. So
yeah, and then being on that side of the vendors, like, I've noticed that. So, and, like, having an exhibitor badge is amazing because, like, you know, we can get down on the floor before anything opens. Like, they yelled at us on Saturday morning. They're like, no, you can't come down the line for, oh, wait, you're exhibitors. Never mind. You can go. We're like, no, yep, we're dealers. We're good.
Yep.
So it's nice being on that side because then it's like, we get that extra time to sit down before, like, the storm comes in and we get really busy because, like, Saturday and Sunday was probably our busier days. Like, especially yesterday was the worst because we were starting to do flash sales because she's like, I don't want to take any of these plushies home. They're going to sit in my closet. So we did, like, a major sale.
Yep, you kick in the sales by the time, like, the last 2 days of the con comes in, and then it's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, we made about 1.5 yesterday. That was our biggest sales day was yesterday.
Whew. Yeah.
And overall, the whole weekend, it was about 4K. I think a little bit about 4K.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That was really nice because we made table cost and paid for the stock.
Good.
So overall, it was a pretty successful con. Everybody was really nice there.
All right. Next on my list, well, it would be franchise design / teacher technique.
Well, I mean, I'm working on Tifa.
Yeah, you have your little progress thread over on Twitter that I keep seeing.
I actually have it with me right here. So comparatively, I don't have a fancy sewing machine. I have a very, like, here, I can actually show you my sewing machine. This is my sewing machine.
Okay.
It is a mini sewing machine. It was a birthday present from one of my friends who knew I was doing cosplay, and she's like, "Well, here's what I'll do for you. I'll buy you a sewing machine so you can actually, so you don't have, because before I had my sewing machine, I had a mini, one of those handheld ones, and it was just absolute shit.
Right.
My hemming was horrible. I couldn't do anything. So I would get discouraged, and then a lot of the times I started doing it by hand again. When you do it by hand, it takes 10 times longer. So having my sewing machine for hemming and other stuff is really nice. It only has a few basic things on it and whatnot, but I'm okay with it because it gets the job done. There was a humble bundle going on, I think, for the next 2 days on the cosplay stuff and all the cosplay books. So I bought the dollar one because I have majority of Kamui cosplay books.
Yep.
I don't need to have doubles of the books, or else I would be gifting them to people.
Right. So
Kamui cosplay books are definitely I recommend to everybody because they are so helpful. So when I made my first armor set that I made with only pauldrons, and it was the Inquisitor from Dragon Age.
Okay.
The starting off armor. So I used the techniques that she talked about in there, and then over the time, I've like, those pauldrons are heavy as shit because it's Warbler sandwiched between craft foam, the D-rings. It's heavy. But now I know you don't have to sandwich it. You can put Warbler on the outside, fold it over, and then just shape it that way.
Right.
So it's really nice. But with Tifa, it's a lot of hand sewing, or it's a lot of sewing. So you could paint it, but the middle part of the belt is this really nice design. It's like white fabric with some red over top of it. And it's a really pretty design. And I'm looking at it like, yeah, I could paint that, but what if I embroider it? Mind you, I've never done embroidery before. I've never even thought about embroidery before. So I looked at Pinterest. I looked up tutorials.
Oh, boy.
So this is what I've done so far. Compared to the whole thing, this is the whole thing. I've only done this much. This is about 10 hours, maybe more. So, and I still have all of this to do.
That design gets copied?
And that design is the same design the whole way down.
It's just repeating. Okay.
Repeating. So I can show it up to
I can see like faint outlines of.
Yeah, you can see how I outlined it. So I drew it on. It took me about an hour and a half to draw it on because I wanted to make it consistent. It took me 30 minutes to actually make the sash itself. Because I took my muslin, so now I've gotten better where instead of guessing how long I need my fabric to be, I actually measured myself. So that was the smart thing to do. Always measure yourself. Never guess. Don't do that. Because I'm notorious for that. And I wanted to do it. So it's like, I'm not Velcroing it in the back. I'm going to actually cut eyelets or places for the eyelets and then lace it together. Right. So it's going to be tied in the back like that. And this Tifa, I think I didn't mention it. This Tifa design is a Hannah Alexander design. And she's very notorious for all the little details and all of the stuff. So that's where I was like, you know what? That's why I posted it in my Instagram poll. My Twitter poll was like, the one that mostly got the most response was my Instagram poll was like, which one, Tifa or Aerith? And everybody most people went with Tifa. So
yep.
I compared, I was like, to start out, Tifa would be good. It would be very good because I have to hand dye the fabric. I'm embroidering. I already decided I was going to embroider the design. So that's how I came to that conclusion. I was like, all right, I'm starting. And probably the same weekend, I got the fabric and the basic fabric and started. I got about 4 yards of muslin to work with. Okay. So muslin's actually very see-through. So I ended up doubling up the muslin. So I cut out the same length of muslin so 2 pieces of muslin are sewn together. So I hemmed it. I folded it over, hemmed it. So you can't really see through it. Right. I'm taking this. I recommend for any cosplayer, do it one piece at a time. Don't go, I'm going to start this and I'm going to start this, because if you do it that way, you're going to overburden yourself. And I know a lot of cosplayers are like, oh, I got time to do it. I got time to do this costume in the cons in like 2 weeks. Yep. The con I'm debuting this at, and I'm actually going to compete with this again, is Super Smash Con in beginning of August. So it's almost June now. I have about 2 months to do this. Right. So it's going to cut it. I'm going to cut it close because I still have to make the armor. I have to dye the fabric. I have to do everything and then do the top. So it may or may not be done, but I'm going to try and get it done. So like every chance I get, I'm embroidering because I know that's going to take me the longest.
Do the longest stuff first.
Yes. So do the thing that you know is going to take you the longest first. If you're trying to embroider something, do the embroidery first. Or like make the basic of the outfit first, then do that. So I don't have a mannequin. So I'm at that. I don't have a mannequin to work with. So I kind of just have to use my own body to test it out. I have to measure myself, have somebody measure the length for me from like my hip to down. So I can go, okay, how does this need to go? How long do I need to make this?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. I remember when I did the Aquaman outfit in the Future's End one shot, when DC had the whole Future's End of what every DC title would look like 5 years down the road. I think it would be because of an event that would go on or whatever. But he had his classic green suit, but like the sides were on, like his sides were like of a darker green. So I got like a one-piece Zentai suit.
Yeah.
So what I had to do, I had to put it on me. I had to get my dad in my room, and he took like a semi-permanent marker or like a pencil where I could see the line. And I've been basically laying down like both ways. And then he had to basically draw the lines on me while looking at the picture that I had as a reference to try and guess where the darker green parts were on his legs. So that was ticklish.
Yeah, it sucks when you don't have a mannequin, but you got to work with what you have. So like, I don't have a studio. People are like, oh, I need a studio to work with. No, you don't always need one, but it's helpful. You just don't always need one. My computer desk is my workstation. So I majority work from home now with my new current job. So that's really nice. So I'll be doing like waiting for phone calls or waiting for emails, and I'll be sewing.
Oh, that's a good.
So I'm doing my job still, but I'm also like doing something with my hands. So I'm like, I'm able to do this really quick because the embroidery stitch that I'm doing with the Tifa is called satin stitch, where it's literally you have to go through and like kind of do like you're going around through the fabric. I'm not using one of those like those hoops because it would be inconsistent. I'd have to constantly be moving it. It's easier for me to just do it without the hoop and go from there. Actually, my laptop is about to die.
You got a charger nearby?
Let me grab my charger.
All right.
I gotta grab that real quick. Oh man.
Dum 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 dum. Dum dum dum. There will be no awkward silence.
Yes.
No silence. Not this time.
I just wanted to make sure. I'm glad I looked down when I did, because I was like, uh-oh. I'm gonna need to move it over just a smidge.
Just a smidge. Just a smidge. I'm gonna get some water.
There we go. All right, we're good.
Sweet.
All right, yeah, I need water too. I've done my coffee. Now I need my water. So yeah, I had a really late night flight last night, so I didn't get home till 1 a.m.
Oy.
So my flight landed at about midnight. Actually, 12:30 is when I finally got off the plane. Had to find my Uber, and then it was a 20-minute ride home in the Uber.
Oof.
So yeah, that's why I slept so long today. I was like, no, I'm sleeping more because I have to go back to work. I go back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, good time. It worked out good that you had the day off.
It really did, and I would have taken today off regardless.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to overwork myself. I actually didn't work myself sick this time, which was nice.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So whenever you make costumes, do one thing at a time. Like if you want to make the whole outfit generally, do it. If you're able to do it, do it. Like I should make the skirt next or at least start dyeing the skirt, because I know it's going to take me a few times of dyeing it. So I have to hand dye it. And I found a really cool tutorial on how to do that. So get the fabric that works best. So you get your fabric, get the dye that is recommended for that fabric. So I have RIT dye for this fabric because cotton it's recommended you use RIT dye for cotton.
Right.
And it'll even tell you on the back of the bottle, like what to do. So I need to add like 1 cup of salt to the mixture for cotton. So I'm going to do that.
Right.
And I may have to do it several times. So what you do when you want that, because with the gradient dyes, it's how do you do that? I was like, I don't know how to do this. So I looked it up. And so when you have your water, you dye in the thing, and you take your fabric and you dip it. You're like constantly dipping it. So the fabric is moving in the water. And of course, the one that's like the one you want to be like the darker color is like the one you're going to keep kind of in the pot, but you're going to keep moving your fabric.
Right.
So it keeps the fabric moving. It keeps the water, like it keeps the dye. And then you like wash it out with, you can use, I think, dish soap or laundry detergent. And you can see from there, like, yes, this is how dark I want it. Or you do it again. You wash out what the extra dye that you have, and then you go back in the water and you repeat it. So you can do the gradient dye. You can dye fabric whether the fabric's wet or dark or wet or dry, but you just have to wash your fabric first.
Okay.
So little tidbits that I've learned as I've been learning how to do this. So whatever helps other people, there you go.
Oh, I'm sure it's got to help someone.
Yeah.
Depending on whoever listens to this.
Yeah. Because
it goes up.
I had no idea how to do it. Like, I know a few cosplayers I know one cosplayer who's done a lot of Hannah Alexander designs, but she did Megara and Katara, so they weren't really that much gradient in it, but as much as the Tifa one was, especially with the black to the gray. I was like, how do I do this? So Pinterest became my best friend. I looked everything, like literally how to gradient dye, and then I found a tutorial, saved it. I'm going to refer back to it when I actually go to do the dyeing. So do tons of research whenever you need to, like when you want to start something you've never done before, because I'm notorious for kind of just jumping into it, but like, I'll be fine. I'll be okay. No.
Yep.
My experience is if you know a cosplayer that has done that design or that thing, reach out to them. Like Lisa Liu is a fabulous resource too, because she's always very responsive of, yeah, this is how I did it.
Yep.
I own 2 of her costumes and worn both of them. I actually, even when I got Rakan from Nigri, I was like, Lisa, how the hell do I put this on? I'm like, what do I do? So she helped me out with that. And then that was really nice.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I was like, when I got Venenet, I was like, how do I style this wig? How do I fix this wig? And then she told me how she did it and then recommended me, like, Arta Wigs has a really good tutorials on how to style wigs. So that's it's always reach out to other people when you're stumped.
Right.
Because they can lead you in the right places, or they can tell you how this is how I did it, but you could always look it up, and this is where you can look it up at. Right. I actually met Bindo at AwesomeCon because we were booth neighbors.
Yep.
And her and I were talking about armor, and she's like, well, she recommended me to a few YouTubers. I can't remember the names of them for the life of me. She recommended me to a few YouTubers who did foam smithing and how to make foam armor.
Yep.
That was really nice.
Yeah, Bindo's great.
Yeah, she really was. That was a very fun week. That was a fun booth and a fun weekend because of where we were. Right.
Oh, that was a lot. That's good. All right. Anything else you wanted to add?
Not that I can think of. So I'm also like my brain is still kind of fried.
That's understandable.
But it was a good weekend. So it wasn't a bad weekend. It was a really good weekend. I got to see people who I haven't seen in over a year, met some new people, got networked even a little bit while I was there. So that was really nice.
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I guess we can just wrap this episode up. If they want to find your work, where could they look you up?
So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, kind of Tumblr, but I use my Tumblr for other reasons. I did make a separate cosplay one, but it became too much to do Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to the three. My Instagram name is different than my Facebook and my Twitter name. My Instagram one is Black Canary with an extra Y. You will see my Ignis and my snazzy Ignis that I took at the photo I got at Katsu.
Okay.
Twitter is Canary_cosplay, and then Facebook is I think it's Canary Cosplay, just that. I don't have a Patreon, but I do have a Ko-fi, which is also Canary Cosplay. You can find me there. If my work in progress, I'm dumping them all onto Facebook, and as I go on Twitter, I'm adding it to my Insta story and adding it there. And then as well as Twitter, I have a thread going on of this is my work in progress.
Right.
And I just shit post on Twitter. So, I mean, you get the serious part of me on Facebook and Instagram, but you get the shit post on Twitter.
I think that's how it is for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's the shit post. It's my shit posting. People seem to like it, which is good.
Yeah. And then you can follow me on my Lightning Palace blog. The Cosplay Bites has a SoundCloud page. That's where all these episodes go up. My Patreon if you search Lightning Palace, you should get it. That's where you'll find all my free posts. And if you pledge to my only tier, after about a month, you can get these stickers.
Those are cute.
That Suzumi creates made because she's amazing, and she does a bunch of stickers for a bunch of cosplayers Patreons from what I've seen.
She does John's. Why don't I have a couple of John's?
Yeah. Are you gonna grab them?
I'm gonna grab John's. This one was March's rewards for John, so it's a little gambit.
Gambit. Yep. They're not gonna see this. They're not gonna see the video.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's a little gambit. Then that's not it. And then this current month was Optimus Prime.
Right.
My friend gets his from there too, and he has a Nyx and his Mace Hughes.
Yep, I got my Prompto, and then I got my Steampunk Nightwing over there. So you'll get like one of each sticker and then a mini thank you note after a month. And then I just put up some goals. If I meet them, cool. Next month's episode, my guest will be Villana Ray Cosplay from Canada. She also had a photography page that goes by Sarah Hall Photography. You may know her work. And we're going to be talking about the con that she's going to that month, which is YetiCon. And by then, hopefully I'll have a much fancier mic to use aside from these headphones. So I think that's it. Thank you so much, Canary Cosplay, for doing this with me. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, it was.
And I guess we'll see you guys in a month. All right. Later, guys. Bye.
Bye.